What's going on, everyone? The moment is finally here. Game 2. I'm sure you're excited as much as I am. Lakers on the road once again in Memphis against the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Lakers have a great opportunity here to go up 2-0 heading back to Los Angeles, which would be massive. And in my opinion, the series would be over. I still think the Lakers win this series in probably 6 right now, even if they lose this game. They are playing against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are the best home team in the entire league. Morant, at least at the time of recording this video, is a game-time decision. He probably isn't going to play, and it's not that he probably doesn't want to play or give it a go. I just think if he plays, it might be more of a hindrance than a positive. I think, one, he already has trouble shooting the ball, and his injury is on his dominant hand, his shooting hand, his dribbling hand. That's going to affect his dribbling. That's going to affect his shooting. You know the Lakers are going to be slapping at the ball like crazy if he's on the court. It's just part of the game, right? So I don't see Ja playing this game. Here's the thing, though. The Grizzlies are just as good. In many cases, they're actually better without Ja Morant. Just from like a point standpoint, there's slightly more points per game, and they have a slightly better net rating without Ja. They're not better without Ja, but they still are a very good team, and they have a winning record without Ja. They're at home. Again, best home team in the entire league. So the Lakers definitely have their hands full regardless. But if they continue to play their game that we saw in Game 1, the Lakers should win this game. With or without Ja, people forget that Ja played 95% of that game, and the Lakers were in control. They did a great job on Ja Morant. You saw Jared Vanderbilt really kind of making things difficult, denying him the ball and keeping it out of his hands. He had 18 points, but 6 of those points were in transition points. So really, he had 12 points on like 3 of 12 shooting, something like that, without those other shots. So did a great job containing him, defending him. If Ja doesn't play, the beauty is that now you can put Jared Vanderbilt on, say, Tyus Jones, or put him on Desmond Bane and try to shut them down. So it makes things, it puts better positions for us if Ja doesn't play, because it's one less guy we have to worry about going off, because Ja's ability to just go off for 30 plus a night is a problem, right? It's something that needs to be contained. You saw Desmond Baines have a really good game in Game 1. Triple J, that's something else that we got to do a better job of, containing him, getting him off of his spot, and attacking him aggressively. He is second in the league in fouls behind Karl Anthony Towns. He loves to foul. Go at him, get into his chest, draw that contact, draw those fouls. We only drew 3 fouls on him in Game 1. I'd like to see him get some real pressure. LeBron James, I have no problems with the way that he played in Game 1. He was efficient, he was solid. 3-point shooting, I'd like him not to take so many unless he's got it going early. I'd like to see him put the ball on the deck and kind of go for the kill shot here. Now, how much of Game 1 was just LeBron coasting and filling it out? Not just that, but other guys really stepped up. We've seen LeBron his entire career, Game 1. He's not the dominant enforcer LeBron the way that he is like as the series progresses. But defensively, he was fantastic. We need more of that. If he only gives us 20 points a game this series, but he plays defense like he did in Game 1, I will take that. I'm okay with LeBron giving us, 20, 25. LeBron just steps on the court and he's going to get you 20. Just with his IQ, his ability to just take guys off the dribble. Guys cannot guard him. LeBron James could definitely go get his. But we are much better as a team when LeBron plays part of the team rather than as the team. So I want to see LeBron continue to play the way we saw him play in Game 1. I would just like a little more better quality shooting. I'd like a little better decision making at times, especially in that second quarter. He really was just sloppy with the basketball. I expect him to be better with the basketball this game. 5 turnovers. He had like 3 of those in like back-to-back sequences. I expect him to take care of the ball better. We were dominating Like, you look at the first quarter, we had 0 turnovers. Like, that is the type of game we need to play. You're going to have turnovers. Turnovers are part of the game, but you need to limit them as much as possible. We had 14 in game 1, I believe. If we can get that down to around 10, that would be perfect. Under 10 would just be a home run. But again, turnovers happen, miscues happen, things happen, right? It's part of the game of basketball. Going to turn the ball over, but you need to limit them as much as possible, especially with the Grizzlies. They love to run. They love to get out in transition. Without Ja, that is definitely a hindrance and something that would hurt the Grizzlies, because now they're not going to be as fast. I mean, Ja is one of, if not the fastest point-to-point players in the league. So to have him out, that just kind of slows down their transition slightly. But they're still a very good transition team, still a very good shooting team. They have guys like Luke Kennard loves to play us and shoots like he's prime Steph Curry for whatever reason. We got to limit those guys. We got to play the defense. We got to lock in. Also, we need the role guys to continue to step up. Rui Hachimura, he's still the mismatch in this game that I keep talking about. Not expecting him to go get 30, but if they're going to keep leaving him wide open, make him pay. You know, like, you had Desmond Baines talk about how the game plan was to let Rui make the play. I don't buy it for a second. Was the game plan to have Rui make decisions and shoot shots? Probably. But I guarantee you the game plan wasn't to leave him wide open. If it was, then the Grizzlies did not do their homework. Because if you look up Rui's stats in the playoffs and you look up his metrics, dude, the guy's like a 60% three-point shooter in the playoffs. And he just did it again. And yes, it's like a 6-game sample size total, but in like all 6 games, he's done the same thing. And in all 6 games, he's averaged double figures. And in 3 of those games, he's averaged 20 or more. So he's averaging like 15 a game during that. That's what we need. If he can just give us like 15 a game, that's perfect, right? His ability to play defense, defend, especially in this matchup as the small ball center, because the Grizzlies, as we saw in game 1, went small because they don't really have the size. And even like guys like Alamada, he's more of a parameter guy. He just wants to shoot threes. So it's nice to have Rui because of his strength. He's not going to get bullied by a Triple J. He's not going to get bullied by a Tillman. Not going to get bullied by an Almada. He's going to be able to hold his own, stand his ground. Also, he provides the offensive punch that you don't get with like a Tristan Thompson, a Winning Gabriel, Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba, you know, his ability to stretch the floor is nice, but one, he's not going to be able to guard Triple J. Mo is averaging like 3 fouls a game in 9 minutes of play. This is just a really bad matchup for Mo. If we end up playing a team like Denver, maybe even the Kings, because their backup is like Alex Lynn, then I could see Mo Bamba actually getting some run, getting some burn, because they would match up better, right? I think Mo Bamba can at least stay in front of Alex Lynn, but having a guard Triple J or a smaller guy in Tillman who he's just gonna lean into the body and try to finish, you're gonna get Mo in foul trouble. But a team like, again, Sacramento Kings or the Denver Nuggets, if we get through this series, then you can see Mo Bamba maybe getting some run there. Dennis Schroeder had a solid game. Nothing real standout, nothing real major, but he didn't have to. Right? We didn't need him to go and give us 20 or 30. We just needed him to do what he did and provide a little scoring punch, some playmaking, some defense, and that would be huge. Schroeder, his ability to guard Tyus Jones, that is another really effective just matchup that I like, and one that I favor Schroeder. Don't get me wrong, Tyus Jones might be the best, if not one of the best backup point guards in the league. I have him and Schroeder up there as arguably the 2 top. So that matchup I think is really good. They kind of neutralize each other, but Schroeder has the ability to go off. We've seen Schroeder close out games for the Lakers. We've seen Schroeder go and get 20, 30 points. Again, what does this game call for? Right? We need guys to step up. I'm okay with a balanced attack. If we have 7, 8 guys in double figures, great. Right? I don't need 3 guys to go get 30. I'd rather see, Anthony Davis with 25, LeBron James with 22, Dennis Schroeder with 15, Rui with 15, Reeves with 15, D'Lo with 17. Like, I would rather a balanced attack like that. Keep guys engaged, keep guys involved, keep the ball moving, don't let it stick, right? Better decision making, get some quality shots going. That's what we need. Anthony Davis, I want to see him continue to be aggressive, continue to be physical. He had one of his better games in the Grizzlies game. Now, if you didn't watch the game, you might think like, oh, he had a good game, but it wasn't anything special. No, it was special. On the defense, and I'm not even just talking about the stats. He was engaged the entire time. He was physical the entire time. He was aggressive the entire time. He was making quicker decisions, which I want to see, especially in that double team. The way you break up that double team is you make quick, decisive decisions. Am I going to the hole and going to finish? Am I going to shoot this mid-range? Am I going to kick it out? What am I going to do? Make decisive decisions, and I really think that Anthony Davis can continue to have that monster game. Just on the defensive end, though, absolute monster. I mean, he controlled and dictated that game from start to finish. But Reeves, I want to continue to see Reeves be aggressive, continue to finish through contact, don't look to draw the foul. That was something that Austin Reeves did a really good job in. The Minnesota game, that was a problem, and that was a real question. In the Minnesota game, he was looking for fouls like he does in the regular season, trying to draw the contact deliberately and then throwing it at the rim like he does. In the regular season, he gets that whistle. In the playoffs, you saw, because again, the Minnesota game was a playoff-level game. It's a play-in game, right? That whistle was not there for him, and he struggled. He made the adjustments in the game one of the Grizzlies game, which was huge, which was massive, and you saw him be super efficient, super effective, and close the game down the stretch. That, again, is very massive. We need Reeves to continue to do that. If you can find a spot where, the defender's being ultra aggressive and you can kind of draw that contact, fine, but make sure you're looking for the finish in the basket, not just, let me put it on the ref to blow the whistle and get some free throws. No, he needs to finish through that contact. He's one of the better guys in the league at finishing through contact and getting the and ones. If I'm not mistaken, he's like top 5 in and ones this year. He might even be at the top. But regardless, that's what he needs to do. He needs to continue to look for his spots, look for his shots, continue to play make, hit his shots, be able to. We don't necessarily need him to close every game. If he has it and he's going, why not? Right? Darvin Ham also, you saw in game one, gave Austin Reeves a lot of rest in like that midpoint. Like even people were like, why? Like I saw in the chats, people were like, why haven't they put Reeves in? Reeves needs to come in. Well, we saw why at the end of the game. The reason that Darvin Ham put Reeves on the bench for so long was so that Reeves was rested and ready to go close out this game down the stretch, and it paid off. It was a great decision, and it worked out well. Darvin Ham was brilliant in game one. Brilliant. That was one of his best, if not his best coaching games of the season. He was very decisive. He had solid rotations. He didn't lean on guys too long. If they didn't have it, he took them out, put the guys in that did, was calling timeouts and not letting runs or leads get too carried away. You saw when Memphis went on the run, and you had Anthony Davis and D'Lo on the bench, I believe it was at the time. He called the timeout, got them back in the game immediately, and we reestablished control. The Lakers dominated that game pretty much start to finish. Outside of that second quarter, Lakers were in control of that entirety. There's different levels to domination, because I've said like, the Lakers dominated game one, and people were like, that was not dominant. It was. If you watch that game, the Lakers controlled that game pretty much start to finish. For 40 of like that 48 minutes, the Lakers were the best team on the court by far. And it wasn't a contest. Like if you watched that game, you knew the Lakers were in control. And I'm not talking about the 15-0 run down the stretch. The Lakers were going to win that game regardless. If it wasn't for that second quarter, the Lakers probably would have won this game by 20. Right? So they need to continue to establish that dominance and continue to control and dictate that game and stay confident. D'Angelo Russell, love what I saw from him. He started off rocky, right? He was 0 of 4, something like that, 1 of 5 to start the game, and then shot 60% from the field the rest of the way. So he was great. When you remove the slow start, the 4 or 5 misses that he had to start the game, he shot basically his average. He was like 55% from the field, and he was like 50% from 3. That's what we need to see. He's shooting 50% from the field, 42% from 3. That needs to continue. His ability to just score at all 3 levels, be a mismatch, as well as play make for others. He still gave you 7 assists, even with his 17 points. That's what we need. We need him to continue to be aggressive, continue to find and seek his shot, continue to hit open jumpers, knock down that 3 ball, build his confidence. He was great in that game. And there was a lot of questions about D'Lo, right? Because he didn't have a great game in Minnesota. And the previous postseason where he was on Minnesota, there was a lot of questions about it. But like I talked about, if you go and look, like Minnesota didn't use him very well. They didn't really capitalize on D'Angelo Russell and the player he is. He was kind of always the afterthought, which I always thought was funny, and I even like mentioned this on As It Stands, I believe, because I didn't have this channel at the time, but I even talked about how like D'Lo, when there's literal stats where the Timberwolves had like an 80% win rate when D'Lo scores 20 points per game. And like, if you look at the Lakers, whenever D'Lo gives you like 20 plus, the Lakers win almost every one of those games. The only game that I believe off the top of my head that they lost was the game where he had 33 and 9, but he was the only one that showed up. That was that Knicks game where Anthony Davis was getting killed by everybody because he just had a terrible game. So outside of that, we usually win when D'Lo is being effective, being efficient, and scoring the basketball, playmaking for others. I need to see that continue. I need to see him continue to seek and find his shot. But in general, got to do a good job and continue to do a good job of controlling Triple J. Do not let him get too carried away. He had a very solid game, a game that in some circumstances could actually absolutely win them the game, right? We need to keep him under wraps a little bit. He's an incredible player, incredible talent. Don't get me wrong. The way you control him is you get into his body, you attack him on the offensive end, and you put him in position to where he has to make decisions, and he's more likely than not going to end up drawing the foul, and that's how you basically get him out the game. You go, you attack him, you be physical, be aggressive, make him work on the offensive end, continue to pressure him. You saw LeBron guarding him. Right, that was beautiful because you get to keep Anthony Davis in the spy spot. Don't get me wrong, Triple J did hit some shots that were just, you tip your cap to him, right? I mean, he had some difficult shots in that game, and you continue to put him in that position and make him have to do that night in and night out. If he does it, great, but you just make it difficult and you slow him down as much as possible. Got to keep guys, Luke Kennard, Desmond Baines, those guys, you need to keep them honest. You need to keep them from just going off and building momentum for the Grizzlies. Lakers have all the momentum right now, have the ball in their court, have an opportunity to go for that kill shot that can now you go home and you're looking at a potential sweep. The Lakers win this game today, this series is over. This series is over. It's just, do they win in 4 or do they win in 5? In my opinion. So that's kind of how this looks. But Lakers got to get the job done, establish dominance early, control guys, keep Tyus Jones. Now that if Ja Morant doesn't play, well, now you have Jared Vanderbilt who can now guard. Well, who do we need him on today? I would personally start him on Desmond Baines because Desmond Baines is the guy that can go off or has the most likelihood of going off regularly. But if, say, Tyus Jones starts going off, you make that switch. Put Vanderbilt on Tyus Jones. But if it was me, I would have, again, LeBron on Triple J, Anthony Davis in that scout position, make Dylan Brooks make some plays, hit some shots. He hit a couple in the game one. You got to tip his cap to him, but he's a guy that you can live with that. If he goes off and he scores 25, you live with that. Right, so you keep LeBron on Triple J. I would put Jared Vanderbilt on Desmond Baines. I would have Austin Reeves on Tyus Jones, and then I would have D'Angelo Russell on Dylan Brooks with Anthony Davis in that spy position, kind of keeping an eye on Tillman. If Tillman wants to shoot the 3 ball, you make the rotation, you try to close out. If he starts knocking him down, you make the adjustment, but you live with that shot, right? You don't want to give him wide open looks, but you keep Anthony Davis as close to the paint as possible. And if Dylan Brooks and Xavier Tillman are the guys that beat you today, you tip your cap to them and you move on to game 3. I don't see it happening. I don't see them beating us. If you can contain Tyus Jones, Triple J, and Baines, you're going to win this game. They're still likely going to get their points. They're still likely going to score. They're likely going to have some solid games. But can you make it difficult and can you control the game? That's what this is about. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Think Lakers get game 2? You think Grizzlies tie the series 1-1? What do you like the game plan? How do you feel about it? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know.